OLA interviewing Anvil. Hey, excited?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you know what? You did a great job, OLA. Good for you. So best of luck, right? Be yourself. Be yourself. Anvil, OLA.
It's going to be, what stayed the same, what's changed, what's in it for the future. So, in a video interview with Rolling Stone magazine, you guys did last year, Liv, you said that sometimes you still feel it's a surreal experience. And do you still feel that way, or has the much-deserved, long time coming success worn off?
Has it worn off?
You know, that feeling of like...
It hasn't worn off. It's just that we've just
Become more accustomed to it in the sense that
we're a high profile band, and we're famous, and we're still the same people. People treat us
different than we were ever was before, and we're recognized in places that you never the least expected. And sometimes that's still a little bit weird, like bumping into people at Best Buy and they're going, "Are you the guy?"
Oh, who's that? Yeah.
And I go, "Why does he know me?"
and then people remind you that, oh, I'm famous.
Yeah.
That's what he means, you know?
Yeah,
I still walk around like just like...
As if we're still the same as it's always been, but all of a sudden you're getting recognition, so you're going, "Oh yeah, I forgot."
It was amazing. I just saw the back of your head that day. The back of your head.
Yeah, well, that's how mistake is.
That's right. That's right.
Holding my haircut just to get
Now
over
we're
it.
more used to the games of being like, wow, now it's like, oh.
That's classic.
Yeah, you remind you. Other people are
We
like
say that to everybody. It's okay to have one over your haircut.
That's right. But we don't treat it any differently. Our feet are on the ground.
Good. I respect that, I like that.
You know, been accused of it not being on the ground, but that's by illusionary, disillusional people. But the reality is, it's well.
Yeah.
Well, you have to. The bottom line is,
Nothing's
when
changed,
when
man.
that when something like this happens, everybody's attitude towards the people it happened to changes. The people who it happened to carry on as if everything's the same.
You know, it's internally
So then
subjected to
everybody kind of looks at it and is going, "Have they changed?" And they're actually projecting their own feelings on us.
Yeah.
They expect change when there isn't any. The only change is their attitude towards us, which is also a catalyst for sometimes friction, sometimes being overcompensating.
You know,
People
things around us
treat
have
you
changed.
better than they
We're still
really
the
should
same.
be.
We're really the same.
You know, it's more about like, "Let me buy you lunch." I'm in Scotland.
Like I don't know you.
Is insisting, "I'm buying you McDonald's." Like I'm standing in line. I don't want I don't want it. Like, "No thanks." And I go, "How dare you? I guess things have changed for you, eh?" And
Oh,
he's
right.
like,
Yeah.
now I guess you're taking it, like he's thinking I'm taking it for granted that he's offering me lunch. You see what I'm saying? But it's not that I'm taking it for granted. I feel like, why are you buying me lunch?
Yeah.
You don't need to buy me lunch.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so
Don't need to treat
so,
me
so I'm saying
extra
that,
different. You know, when it comes
that's what we mean. It affects more the way people perceive us than the
things
way
around
we
us have changed.
think
We're still,
them.
we feel we're still the same people in general. For sure.
Which is the most important part of staying
And you know, even when you're nice to people, sometimes you feel like it's not even worth it because
Yeah.
you still think that you're something else. It's fucking weird.
It is really weird.
Yeah, this whole thing of becoming really successful and becoming celebrities and all this fucking it's got a lot of weird shit to psychologically
Yeah.
on other people looking at you, not on us guys. You know, we're still, like I said, we're grounded. You know, we got families. We don't do anything crazy. We're still living the same lives. I buy a bigger car because, you know, I might have more money or anything, you know, I'm still in the same way. So, you know, it's just people how they look at us. Perception, perception.
Perception of the outside world kind of thing.
That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
Next question.
As frustrated as you guys were, you know, fighting for this recognition and dealing with various challenges, what was the turning point where you felt, hey, everything's finally coming together and all of this was worth the wait, per se? You know, going back to your title of one of your previous albums. Like, you know what I mean? Like when...
Do I feel that?
Well, worth the wait was never going to be, there was
Is
never going to
Anvil in
end.
here?
Yes, yeah.
Because I'm bringing food.
You
You don't want to let me in, won't they?
Yeah. Okay, yeah,
Are
sure.
you busy? I gotta bring the food too.
Yeah.
Here. You know what? He didn't give you guys no banana cake because I made one of those too for you guys.
For big, small, or
No?
indifferent? Not the relevant part. What this has been about is we are music lovers and creatives. That's what we do. Whether we make money or not, the main motive is to make music and play live. That's why we do it. That's why we do it all. The money is only whether it's there or not. It's not really.
Listen, it's always felt satisfying. We just felt it completed when, oh, okay, now everybody gets it. You know?
Yeah.
Like you went to Junos, they nominated us, our music got recognized finally by the Junos. They nominated our record. That was like, I felt that was my win. That's what I wanted. It didn't matter after that. Hey, you're recognizing me, this is great. You mean finally.
Yeah.
So, you know, you just feel good about it, like, hey, they're getting it. It's all
Just the
about they're getting it,
recognition.
they're getting it.
That's
they're
all you
getting it.
really ultimately care about is, you know, being recognized for your hard work. You know, when you put it in, you just want somebody to say, hey,
Hey, you know what?
that's the biggest payment you can get.
Yeah.
So, you know, that stuff is all good. Nothing else has really changed with us, you know.
It was worth the long time. It was worth...
It was always going to happen. Listen, in my opinion, it was always going to happen sooner or later.
I don't look at it as
In
waiting.
some format. I always knew
See,
that they would get it.
People don't understand. You're looking at somebody who's always looked at themselves as being successful, okay? So, how big successful? Well, that's all subjective, isn't it? Right now, people are saying you're really, really successful. Well, okay, I don't feel any different. I've had success. I've put out 14 albums. I've had 14 successes because to me what success is, writing a song and getting it on records and getting it into people's hands. That's success. How many people's hands? That's the size of the success. That's not the success itself. And I even said that in the movie. We did the best we could. We made that. This is 13. It's the best album we had done to date. I've been doing my job. Whether it sells 1 million or one record, I'm successful. And I still feel that way. Nothing has changed. I don't feel as though, wow, it's been worth the wait. It's all been worth it. What wait? I didn't wait for anything. What am I waiting for? For what? What, millions of dollars? I haven't got millions of dollars. So I'm still waiting. So is it worth the wait? I don't know. I don't even think about it in those terms, whether something's worth the wait. You know, like whether I'm not waiting. I'm doing it and I feel successful.
We feel very satisfied with what's happened.
Yeah.
In general, you know, we've gotten the satisfaction out of all the hard work and what's come out of it. We can say that.
It's worth doing it.
Yeah, you know, we feel satisfied.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
felt
worth
satisfied.
doing it.
We
It's
felt
not matter
satisfied
worth the
before.
wait. It's
But
worth
the
doing
validation
it
part of it
because I
gives you
get
like, okay, well,
the satisfaction and I get the satisfaction and the fulfillment from doing it. So therefore, it is successful regardless of money. And that's what I'm saying. That success comes, like I said, comes from the inside. How you feel about yourself.
you know, this has turned into our day job. So we're happy about that. Anvil is our day job now.
Yeah, instead of going making deliveries,
You know?
I don't have to do that.
I just, we just get to play.
Now I'm
watch
on a
shows.
permanent vacation.
Yeah.
And people are saying now we're saying it's like having a job, but it's not a job. This is what I did as my
Food. Come on in.
Finish the interview now or not?
No. No.
Now I'm living the dream.
Right.
It's not. it's not something that you could ever be 100% satisfied with. So you could never get fulfillment for money. Being creative and getting that out is a much more successful feeling, no matter how much you get paid.
All that we want to do, what we've always wanted to do now more than ever, is just continue what we're doing. You know, this is great. This is the best day job anybody can have.
Yeah.
You know, being a rock band and surviving from it, you can't ask for a better day job. So that's all we want to do is just continue making records, continue touring, and stay healthy.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
You know?
In an interview from the 90s, when you guys played San Francisco, Lips, you said that the reason why it had been 11 years since you last played the Bay Area at the time was because of lack of interest, staying out of the market, being obscure, and evading stardom at every cost because of opposition towards the music industry. Looking at what you've previously said, I don't know, I'm looking at this now. Like, in retrospect, do you regret ever saying that?
I'm not sure what are you saying that I said?
Sorry. In the interview you said the reason why you hadn't played the Bay, it was a 1999 interview when you guys played San Francisco there in 1999. And the last time you had played was 11 years prior. And the interviewer said to you, why has it taken so long to come back? And you said it was because of lack of interest and the obscurity and evading stardom.
Although there's truths to that, because at that time that's what was part of the catalyst. Listen, the music business failed as band in general. So that's why our whole story became the story. Now the music business is helping us. So things have changed. But back in those days, we didn't have a record company, we didn't have a manager, you know, we were doing things on our own. That's why we were obscure. When you're obscure in America, it's a hard place. Even when you're famous, America's not easy. So when you're obscure, it's not. So that's why we said those things back in those days. Because we were really truly obscure in that country. So, you know, to go to San Francisco every year was something that obscure bands just don't do. That's the point.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So he was just basically speaking a truth at the time.
Yeah. That was just at that point in time.
Oh, I guess I don't regret anything anyway, so.
Yeah. Good, yeah.
No, there's nothing, there would be nothing to regret. He just expressed the reality of the time.
Yeah. That's what I don't want to get at.
You know, even if you got everybody, you know, in this business, even if you never got everything in place, it still doesn't mean everything's going to happen. There's no sure shot to this, right?
Yeah, and the other thing is, you will never get anywhere in this business if you haven't got all the pieces in the right place.
Yeah, you got to have a manager, got to have an agent, got a label,
And if anything,
publicist, you got all
the Anvil story is even that much more. That's really, you know, how are you going to make really great music without a producer? Well, we proved you can. How are you going to be able to gig and get known without a manager? Well, you can't. We proved that. So there's a lot of things that, by our existence, we've actually proven is these are the reasons why. You don't have management. You don't have a producer for your records. You don't have a record company that supports you. How are you going to make it?
An agent to, you know, put you.
How are you going to make it? On what grounds? Who's going to help you? How are you going to do it yourself? You can't.
There's bands that
You know,
try
so-
all the time and they just don't get anywhere. I mean, we tried it too, knowing we needed elements that were missing, but we didn't have it, but we still had to survive. So we kept doing it. But you do it through struggle. But we enjoyed it. It wasn't like, you know, oh, man, this sucks. You know, we knew what it was. We still got to play.
Yeah, it's like we still got the friends, we still got to record albums. No, of course we're not going to get major record deals. First of all, as we were going, the music business was getting worse and worse and worse, losing more and more money, less and less money being offered for records. And meanwhile, we grabbed a record deal when no one else was getting one, and we went on a marathon run, did 6-7 albums in a row with one label.
Yeah.
That's successful.
It is, yeah.
Especially in a climate where no one is getting record deals, and if you are, they're all going in the toilet. You know what I'm saying? It's like we not only did we overcome those odds, that's why I said I've always felt successful in one way or another. I have been. What happened here was a really good karma in the sense that here we treated this kid when he was 15 years old to become a roadie and let him in right with the band and let us become really good friends. The kid grows up to work for Steven Spielberg and then comes back and makes a movie.
One full circle,
You know, why didn't this happen for somebody, some other band? Well, they didn't know this guy.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Not only didn't they know this guy, they did, whatever band, there's elements that make this work. You gotta have been Anvil, a band that happened before Metallica, Anthrax, Megadeth.
We pioneered.
You have to have made
innocently, of course.
Made an indent, a big enough indent, and an impression and influence for it to be anything meaningful. So all these different elements, all adding up, made this work to where it is. And anything missing, it would never be where it is. So in other words, the manager, like the manager that we had back in the early 80s for the short bit, who pulled us out of our original record deal and left us high and dry, he couldn't have done a better thing for me.
Yeah.
Because if I had made it then, we wouldn't be sitting here now. Maybe maybe the band wouldn't exist, maybe it would have been over a long time ago. Who knows? But it wouldn't be where it is today. So regrets?
That all of it is worth it. You've learned, what has been the greatest thing you've learned overcoming all this?
Every minute of this has been worth it.
You never give up on yourself.
Hey, listen, you stand on stage, playing your own songs, it's all worth it. It's all worth it, especially if you've ever been in a cover band and you always wished with all your heart that you didn't have to play somebody else's songs, but you're standing on stage playing your own songs from your own albums. Nothing can be a higher buzz than that. Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why it's like
stay true to yourself, believe in yourself, never quit. Those are the things that I've learned from when you stand a distance. That's what you get. Good things come to you. You know. You just hang in. We hung in. Like I said, I always knew that we would get discovered. I didn't know a movie would be the catalyst. Honestly, who could know? But I knew that someday we would be discovered somehow.
You know, it's interesting because my idea
I always knew that.
We made enough an impression back in the early 80s. I figured if one of those 14 or 15-year-olds was going to grow up and own a record company and sign us way later on.
Yeah,
we own the record company.
We used to talk about that, right?
Yeah, we always talked about it. One of our fans is going to grow up and own a record company, and that's when we're going to get signed to something real.
Wow.
It wasn't a record company. It was a movie.
Yeah.
Wow. Different meaning, you know.
Even a higher level of exposure than any record company could ever give you is a movie.
For sure.
And also the guy who made the movie, Sasha, only he could tell this story. Nobody else could have told our story like him. Because he was directly kind of...
I mean, that's why he did it.
His
whole thing was, if I'm going to make a movie, I got to make a movie that no one else could possibly ever make.
He can only hold.
And that would be the difference. That's what makes a great movie, and a great director, a great band, a great whatever, is the creation of something that no one else could create. That only that person could create something like that. You know what I mean? That individuality, that connection, that human story, that whole thing. This whole story within the story. You know, that we met this kid when he was 15 years old. That in itself could have been the underlying story of a movie, never mind what he did with it. The level of access that we allowed as a result of the relationship that we have made that movie is what it was.
Yeah, when he filmed the movie. He filmed everything.
What band's going to let them film? What musician is going to let them film them crying?
Yeah.
Or at each other's throat?
That wasn't emotional.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that on film. How are you going to get that? Who's going to let you film that? Who's going to want to punch out? Yeah, but for us, that was our friend.
Yeah.
We just figured let him film everything. He told us if you don't like it, we won't use it.
Right.
So we never felt threatened by the cameras.
He didn't want to make. He only wanted to make a really true fucking fact thing, not a make us look like fools, or he could have obviously, and turned into, that was not, he wanted to help us. His whole mission was, you guys got fucked by the music business, so I'm gonna try to help you in any way I can. So that was his thing. That was the whole nexus of that movie. And it turned into the biggest movie ever.
Well, it
Like,
was-
after now, I can say that now, but that's what it turned into, you know? And it shadows us. There will always be a shadow around us. But it's really, Anvil's really about music. And it's always been about it. If there was no music, there would have been no movie. It's the music that got us here, not the movie. Initially.
Yeah.
Right? So, and we're musicians, we're not actors, you know? We could be actors perhaps, but that's not what we are.
No,
You know?
for sure. I mean,
You know, we're musicians, we're rockers, and that's really what our focus is, you know?
the film was just kind of like a strengthening of the music. You know what I mean? It was just like reiterating, like, yeah, they're Anvil. People will still love them, but now it's just because it's coming from such a candid. Because the movie captures so many candid moments, it just.
And it's inspirational. I know the movie, as like you said, you know, it touched people deeper than I, you know, initially would have expected, because we were just being ourselves. You know? He was just being himself. You know, we weren't putting on a show. It's like the cameras are here. We're just behaving like ourselves, and that was what Sasha said to us at the very beginning. Listen, man, this thing's going to be fucking awesome. All you guys got to do is be yourselves. You can't change nothing. And that was like, we looked at it, okay, well, this is easy.
Yeah.
No, this becomes easy because we don't.
And you take yourself for granted, so you don't really think of yourself as being any different or
Like
any
we're,
better
who we
or
are,
any worse
whatever.
than anybody else.
First thing, you don't realize, but you know, he knew what it was. He goes, listen, man, you guys just got to be yourselves. If you do that, we got to go from that.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was easy. So the cameras went, and we just went on with our lives, and they filmed everything. After a year, I was going crazy, going, what the fuck is he doing? Like, they're filming everything. Like, I wasn't getting.
You see two people get along, you're just saying, well, we get along. You don't know the works of it.
Dynamics or whatever. So,
That's it. You've been so devoted to Canada, and like you could have moved to LA, New York, anywhere in the world in hopes of furthering the recognition of the career. But you stayed in North York, Toronto,
well,
still in North
yeah,
York.
well, listen, we've been all over the world, right? We can say this. This country,
It's the best place to live.
and I'm not saying that because we're from here, and that's really the truth. I'm not saying because I'm from here. If I was from anywhere else, I would recognize.
Listen,
Canada.
I have no.
This is a great.
I
place to
really,
It is.
okay, as a person, I have no real allegiance
live. I've been everywhere.
to Canada as far as my business in a metal band. It couldn't be a worse environment.
That's for sure.
Okay, so I don't have
But
any
live here
allegiance
with-
for
live here
that.
with the family
But as
and
far as
stuff.
a place to live and the way that we live and the level that we live and the whole environment, best place on earth.
It's definitely not.
And I will be the first one to say that Canada is number one. I don't care about how I'm treated here as far as what I do as far as a metal band is concerned. That has nothing to do with it. This is the best place to live.
We've been everywhere, and we've been everywhere. You know. I mean, you know, Sweden, is, you know, gives us a good run for the. You know, there's a few countries that we're all par on, but there's only very few, and the rest are not that good, really.
Yeah.
Where he was going with it after a while. I mean,
Yeah, they're not filming shows.
you know, he's filming, they're filming like
Why
personal
aren't they
lives
show-
and
I thought
drama
you're making
and
a
this
movie
and
about the band.
Yeah.
You're not showing anything about the band. You're just hanging out with us. Like, what the fuck is
Yeah,
this?
they're
Right? You
filming
know?
conversations that were like, it was just like, but after when the thing was put together, I you know,